City Watch. Move along.
Welcome to the Wending, mate. I'm sorry it's come to that, but here we are, eh? Rathir. Some say it runs near as deep as it runs high. What I do know is the spire top's full of light and magic and wealth. Down here, shadows and rags and one daft old mage named Faldron Afari. Oh, him? No one knows his real name. Got that name from the way he talks. Some say he was next to the Archsage once, up Spire Top, and a spell went wrong, or his lover fell to her death. Whatever it was, broke him it did. Where you go when you can't find gold for a Praderi garret or a bunk in the Keys, nor get work in a servant's quarters up in some great house. If you're able, you sleep in a ramshackle house. If you can't, you sleep in the tunnels among the mice and candles and rags. Make no mistake, for the likes of me, it's warm and welcome. Gelfine buys and sells what you please. Kest deals the cards, sparrows come and go. And the watch come through seldom to never, which is how we like it. What's this, eh? Time to serve? Well, I always knew it might come. Not sure what they want with a poor Runir Westerner like me, but I'll go. I'll go.
The City Watch never rests. Move along, citizen.
Curios, talismans, items of power.
Fetch this, clean that, never a moment's rest.
Did my parents send you? Are you some sort of new instructor? You're not an instructor? I thought they might have sent another. They've had Majessa here for almost a year now. She does always get me to attend to her lessons somehow, though I'm not sure how she does it. I know what they want. They want to marry me to some snotty, spoiled son of another great house. Then I can become Maewyn Wyvern Gift Fiddlestuffs. I don't know which is worse, the snotty wyverns or the foolish fawning gifts. I suppose it's nice enough, but then I wouldn't know. I have nothing to compare it to. What is this? Have my parents seen this? Oh, Lunala's starry smile! Yes, yes, and yes! To Chloricon! Think of it! They won't like it when they hear, but what can they do? Buy me out of it? No, not this time. Thank you, stranger. Thank you! Imagine, right in the thick of the war, and me with a sylvan spear, facing red-eyed howling Tuatha. And life beyond the spire.
Well, hello. I am the governess of Miss Wyvern Giff. It is my duty to train my charge in matters of speech and persuasion. I will confess, there are days I yearn for a more eager pupil. A topic that interests you? Would you like to learn some of the art? I am confident a small lesson would be permitted by the house. We are a people of subtle speech and hidden hands. All around us it's great beauty, yes, but what does it hide? I do not blame her. Were her parents more persuasive themselves, such willfulness would have been smothered long ago. Farewell.
If you please.
Such a state! My Lady Coriana won't eat. She won't sleep. All on account of a poor, sick Malian. Woe on House Anwan. My poor lady. What grief she's known. Her daughters lost to Chloricon, and her husband to the war before that. Her son Malian is all that's left to her, and the only seed of House Anwan. Oh, my masters aren't like some up spire top. Just one name to our house, thank you very much, and nearly old as Rathir at that. There are but 2 left of Anwan blood. One soon enough if young Master Malian does not mend. Poor boy, he sleeps and tosses and turns. From the things he says under his breath, his dreams must be ghastly things. The healers say bad blood, but my lady swears it's poison. He sleeps and sleeps, but he's never any better. Well, it's hard to say. The healers are no use. You could go to her yourself and ask. No harm in that. You'll find my lady in the house, by poor Malian's side, most likely. The young master's sickness, yes. He's the last one living, what with the others dead in the war. Here, in House Anwan. Do help my lady if you can.
My son Malian is gravely ill. The healers say his blood is diseased, but I am sure it must be poison. If I were younger, I'd go and find the Lepidus myself and prove them wrong. The healers name it as an affliction of the blood, but Anwan blood has bent beneath no malady in generations. No, Malian was poisoned, I am sure. Our line is ancient. However, if my son Malian is not cured, we shall wither, and the weeds of Wyvern Gif grasp ever higher. His father died in the Battle of Galliffer Plain, his sisters in Cluricon. He is all I have left, and he is slipping away from me. The Wyverns were of respected and decent lineage, though their wealth was not great. Then the merchants Gif bought House Wyvern, much to our surprise. They have mixed sea wash with fine wine. It was early in the war, and until that time we had known only defeat. The day was won, and my husband lost. Bring my son this wild plant, and I will see you richly rewarded. This I swear. Of course not. But my family legacy says it will, and I have no wish to watch my son die while there is still a chance for hope. There's only one place that I know of, the Acathan wetlands. You must search for it there. You will know Lepidus by the shape of its blue flower. It is an herb with natural properties. It is not strictly alchemy, and it does not cure a poison. However, it can relieve the symptoms for a time. Malian will still need an antidote before he is fully well. The wetlands of Acathan, be wary. I have sent servants before you who did not return.
Oh, goodness.
The City Watch never rests.
Oh, there's no use. I've lost the keys. Now Gwalt may'll have my head if I can't think up something fast. Say, you're not good with locks, are you? Would you help a poor fellow who's down on his luck? Well, he's a good enough master all in all. Sees to it I earn every coin of my wages, though. No standing about, not in his shop. With all these people walking around, you'd figure someone would help me after I lost my keys. Me, Gwaltmay calls me lad whenever he wants me, and the others call me hardly anything at all. Just fetch this and lift that. Yes, as in, no need for keys. Ace with a lockpick. Gwaltmay wants an old red ledger from the storeroom in the customs house. Oh, I'm afraid they're lost for good. Now, I might have dropped them here, or at Kest's table the other night. But it's just as likely I dropped them in Bracken Bay after I'd had an ale or three at the Seafoam. The chest it's in, that is, yes. Although I don't know which one it is. But it's down there, somewhere. Oh, now don't worry, nothing in the storeroom's seen the light of day in years. No one will mind if you pick a few locks before you find it. Gets these ideas into his head. Needs this old thing, needs that new thing. This time it's shard prices by the decade. Something to do with a deal he is or isn't striking with that Carasta trader. Oh, the things they say about that Lanshi. That she talked a Jotun out of his own hammer once. And another time sold some Varani fool his own silk for twice as much, after cutting it to ribbons and winding it on spools. The Chamber of Trade's on the way to the quays, and the storeroom's off one of the wings. Just pick any lock down there till you find the old ledger. Chamber of Trade basement. Just head toward the quays.
Students of magic, masters of spells.
Yes, this siege has gone.
Please, find Selny. Tell her we betrayed. The lower tunnels. Go. Tell Selny. No one else. Betrayed.
Aye, it was the third day then, and the ale had run dry. You're not from the Scholia Arcana, are you? If they don't want my company, I certainly don't want theirs. If you're not one of them, well, you're welcome to join me. I'm enjoying the ale and cheer and no bloody spells or mysteries. One thing I've learned, the ladies here are like the spire. Breathtakingly beautiful and completely unassailable, especially to a failure like me. Those cowards dismissed me. Afraid of me. Afraid of how difficult it'd be to train me. What is this? Ah, it was only a matter of time before the army found me out. Just my luck. This calls for another drink. I'll have to pack my things. Ah, Alison. How do I tell my sister? Where will she live? How will she live? Army wages can pay for Allison now, but I'm leaving her. I'll send money. I hope she doesn't end up in the Wending. Let them sleep in their lofty towers. I'm headed for a real life, not sitting in front of books all day and being condescended to. Rove, another ale. Make that 2.
Get this. I wake up yesterday morning with the worst headache, no shirt, and a note that I'm fighting a duel. Me? Fighting a duel? Don't know how I got into it, but it's all rot unless I can find a second. I swear I don't remember a thing. Apparently I challenged Dalton Ames, the war hero, over the honor of my sister. I do seem to remember him and his bulky arm sitting smugly in the sea foam, taunting me. Surely you've heard of him. Back from Cluricon, and everyone's talking about his exploits on the battlefield. They used to talk about my exploits with society daughters, but... Proud son of forested traders, my name is gold in every watering hole and board house in Rathir, and, well, I'm not really allowed out of Rathir. You can't fight a duel without one. Now, you might be thinking, a popular fellow like Wayland, what trouble could he have finding a second? Well, turns out my friends are all drunken cowards. Look, you seem tough enough. Be my second, and I'll make it worth your while. Thank Lupoku. There is something else I should mention. There is no way in all Amalur I'll win this fight, so I've devised a plan. Before you go to Dalton, that's my opponent, find Gelfine in the Wending and ask for some rows of shadows. She'll know what you mean. Then go to the officers' hall in the burn and, on the sly, put some on Dalton's sword point when you inspect it. All in good time, my friend. All in good time. The way I see it, I'm doomed to end up in Mel Senshir, and I'd rather cut the nose off my face than live a soldier's life. I want some freedom, and you're going to help me, right? After you've got the rope, he'll show you his dueling. Now, time for my part in this business.
A drink, a plate of roast.
You must be here about the notice. How do I know? Simple. No one but potential applicants will even speak to me. Must be because I reek of desperation, of one sending young souls off to certain doom. I have served the Alfar Merchant Navy since my youth, when I began my career as a deckhand on the good ship Steadfast. He is the scourge of the Frostbreak Sea, a terror who seems intent on sinking every ship we sail from Rathir or elsewhere. If only he'd stayed dead. It's the fierce, icy ocean north of the plains of Erethel, a busy place of trade and transport, and the occasional treachery. It is the hideaway of Dead Kell and his crew. The legends speak of it as a damned isle, a horrible scar on the face of the world. To be quite honest, no one is sure of its true location. For the best, I say. Well, once you hear the details, I'm sure you will lose interest. Everyone else does. We of the Alfar Merchant Navy wish to hire a representative to track and kill the notorious pirate Dead Kell and his crew of murderous hanged men. They had many names for him during the Middle Kingdom's era. Ghost of the Frostbreak, the Blood-Red Sail. Every captain and swab on the Frostbreak Sea feared for their lives when Kell raised his flag. Many widows were made in those days, my friend. Of course, that was centuries ago, before he was killed. Oh, yes. The Alfar Navy put an end to Dead Kell generations ago. They tracked him to his island hideaway and turned his ship to tinder. There were no survivors. Now you understand our predicament. Our shipping and transport lanes are a gauntlet. Dead Kell preys on our ships like scabs feast on the dying. We are helpless against him. We're losing 1 in 5 vessels departing from Rathir. Good sailors gone, vital supplies sent to the depths. This must end now. You will? Truly? I must admit I did not anticipate this development. Here is your payment. It is made in good faith. Once you've made your preparations, report to Captain Rast Bratigan in the Keys. She will be your escort. Rast is a good and loyal companion, and a competent sailor, despite what they say. May Lyria protect you, and may her breath ever be at your back. She is the only captain willing to pursue Dead Kell into the mists of the Frostbreak Sea. Perhaps it is her courage, her skill, her determination. No, that's not it. Rast is a good woman, but unaware of her own faults, of which there are many. They don't call her the worst sailor alive for nothing. Nothing causes a captain and crew more grief than those little blue beasts. Their poisonous secretions can eat through a new hull in a matter of days. They're not native to this region, but they stow away in the shadowy holes of ships sailing up from the north. She perches along the pier like a seabird. They are Dead Kell's legendary crew, a trio of villains so sinister that their names sink the heart of every sailor. But I won't tell you any more. No, you don't need anything else to stoke your worry. Trust Rast.
Welchmaze is just too expensive. Me. I'm waiting for a passenger, some suicidal idiot. Can't be caught chatting. I want to make a good impression. I captained my first ship when I was no bigger than my papa's knee, and promptly crashed it into the dock, sinking 3 vessels with 1 wreck. It was then that I knew my destiny was to be a sailor. From that day forward, I spent my life on the water. 20 ships in 20 years. It must be some kind of record. He's as elusive as a north wind, a phantom with a skull for a face and fins for feet. Every sailor yearns for the chance to face dead Kel. He and his hangmen go where they please. Masters of the Frostbreak. In my experience, islands are places you visit in order to escape torment and certain death. The Gallows End is one destination I will avoid on future voyages. Unless I crash there, of course. Bloodgrin, the Whispering Witch and the Baronet. Oh, fiends and killers, all of them. They give sailors a bad name. Well, tie me up and drag me under. So you're the one the Navy's hooked into finding Gallows End and killing dead Kel. It's suicide! Really? Ask the others. Oh, wait. You can't. But don't worry about them. Like my mother said, don't weep for the fallen. Even if they could hear you, they wouldn't care. You know, the other applicants. Dead. All of them. All of the ones they found, that is. Plenty of others just vanished. One poor fellow was found cut into teeny tiny pieces. They needed a bucket to pull all of him from the surf. But don't you worry, we'll have a fine voyage. It is the mysterious island fortress of dead Kel and his crew. Why? Do you know how to get there? Because I have no idea. I was hoping to figure it out as we go, but I'm starting to wonder if that's a good idea. He's the worst of the worst. A villain who truly enjoys the pain he inflicts. He's a slippery one, though. Not even death can catch dead Kel. I'd love to be the one to bring him in. Maybe then I'd finally get some respect. Flattery'll get you nowhere, unless I've had too much to drink. Then I'm afraid to say it'll get you all sorts of strange places. I shall not elaborate. Tari and I are ready when you are. Only what you want with you in case of an emergency. There aren't many merchants where we're headed. He's the fine first mate on the ground next to me. Words aren't his strength, although I'd be pressed to say what is exactly. I found him after I was forced to maroon my last first mate on a desert island. That man became obsessed with me, probably because we had sex. A lot. Seeing as I don't believe in navigation, I'd have to say no. Not at the moment. Not to worry. Once you've wrecked enough ships, you get the hang of it. Take all the time. Watch for pickpockets.
Hi, how are you? Hey there, pretty. This is Asker's Alley, best tavern in Issa. Only tavern in Issa, of course, but you didn't know that, did you? If you're new in the city, I can help. I know everything. About the Understyle, the Embassy, the Scholia Arcana, you name it. I know it all. Sure, we've got a place to sleep on the floor over there, but it'll... Sounds good. I'll set... We provide your basic pub... If I'm not mistaken, you've already rented our only bed... Oh, if I had the finery and manners, you wouldn't find me anywhere but the Embassy Hall. I'd even buy a title. But it's a dreadful place these days, what with the war. The Darkofar and Varani are practically at arms over their differences, and everyone speaks in a whisper. I prefer the United Merchants delegation. Those are my people. So you want to brush up on your bad luck, do you? That game will do it for you, all right. Speak with Kali in the back. When Issa first opened, the Alfar approached the humans about creating a shared shop, so people here could get their sundries. All of this was lost on the Fae, of course. Most of the United Merchants are good people, like Wystron and Gwenna, but that blacksmith's apprentice, Britt Codgan, he's a leech. The Askers took me in when my pa was killed in the war. That's been nearly 10 years. Now this is my home, pretty. It's where you'll find me every day and every night. Oh, that's a sinister spot, isn't it? Even the Fae take a few extra steps to walk clear of there. Don't trust anyone in robes. It's the Fae neighborhood on the other side of the city. There you'll find the Hall of Appointments and the Lyceum Grove. They don't mind if you go exploring in the Understyle, but I wouldn't suggest it unless you know your way around. The Fae can be easily offended. Olana and her squire Brio, they have the good fortune to meet with all the nobles who visit the High King. A life of lords and ladies. Oh, that's the life for me. Is that the one at the far end of the Understyle? Yeah, I think that's the place. Never been there, but folks say that's where the Fae make the waterfalls. You see, the city gets its magic from the water. They call it the fountain. Or is it the wellspring? I never remember. I'm sure it's just a story anyway. Let me just say that I adore Olana. She's one of the few Fae that I've met face to face, and she couldn't be more pleasant. Such a pretty one. Like I said, it's all magic to me. If the Fae said this city got its power from glowing purple antelopes, I'd probably believe them. I'm just a hostess. Bye now.
You won't stay. No one does.
This place smells.
If you're looking to drown your worries at the bottom of a bottle, this is the place for you. I'm Gurturn Asker, and this is my establishment. But if you're looking for the Victor's Brew, we don't sell that in Asker's Alley, and you'll have to take your business elsewhere. The ambassadors requested that facilities be created where flesh and blood folks could put their feet up. Not that the Fae know what that means. So the Almain approached my family about starting a tavern. The alley does well, but I'm no businessman. I know better than to criticize the Fae. They call us children of dust. We treat them like people, but they're like no people I've ever met. This city has been here for thousands of years. Longer than that, even. It will be here long after we're gone. I wouldn't say I ran from the war. I just don't need to know every little thing that's going on. There are other ways to help. Getting folks drunk is one of them. Oh, yes, sorry. The United Merchants Delegation. It's a coalition of traders that have been granted permission to sell their wares in Issa. There's a brewery near Rathia that makes it. Very small, very secretive. But they've found their niche, that's for certain. Cheap and powerful. It's not a drink for the man who appreciates craftsmanship, tradition. It just helps the soldiers forget all they've been through. It's the most popular drink in Amalur, at least it is now. My Asker's Ale used to be the preferred beverage, but every day brings more cancelled orders. My brother and I are working on a new drink, but it requires something special. Wait a minute. Maybe you could help. If you do, I could see to it that the merchants in Issa treat you well. So here's what we're thinking. Bring back our grandmother's favorite Asker's Draft, a classic. The recipe calls for bristletongue seeds, and if you're talking rare ingredients, bristletongue tops the list. It's worthless for potions, but tastes fabulous. The problem is that the Fae control the use of bristletongue, as it's a product of the Font's waters. Talk to Jackson, their apothecary. He can probably get it for us. It's been in our family for 4 generations, since the days of Almir the Bold. Our grandmother entrusted us with the formula, and we made a fortune from it. But I'm afraid we've been replaced by a new drink. King Almir? Almir the Bold? The founder of our people's nation? I'm sure you've heard of him before. We're named after him. He spends his time in the Lyceum. See you soon.
Are you worthy of Mithora's blessing?
Watch your back.
Greetings.
The mortals marched unto our golden plains. Fair folk some, and dusky others. They found the rocks and rising of this land pleasing. They asked for it, but it was not ours to give. Cleaving stone and burning root, they made a kingdom for themselves, and named it Tala Rain.
Salutation. Ah, hello. My name is Lannis Davril. I'm a mage of the Scholia Arcana. I don't suppose you have any spare time on your hands. I could use your help with my current research. I am a mage of the Scholia Arcana. I have come to Talarain to test some new magic that I have devised. The nearest chapter house is in the city of Rathir. I am only tenuously associated with them. I prefer to spend most of my time here, where there's no one to bother me. This place is full of monsters, which makes it the perfect place for me to test new magic. I have been working on a new type of magic to track the slaying of beasts. I have vials of clear liquid, which, in theory, will change color once a specific number of monsters have been slain. I believe I have perfected the formula, though I could use a hand in testing it out. Then hunt down the desecrator of these ruins. Kobolds, Krudix, Atten, and those miserable Jotun. I will pay you when these 4 vials have changed color. 1 vial should change after you've slain 10 kobolds. 1 after 5 Krudix. 1 after 3 Atten. And the last after 3 of the Jotun. Good hunting. There are plenty lurking around Talarain, but please don't feel limited to these lands. There are monsters. Feel free to go where you wish. As long... Well, perhaps we'll speak later. Salutation.
Ah, and the footfalls of another wayfarer grace our ears. I'm delighted. I don't suppose you're traveling through Galette, are you? If so, I would not look too hard for anyone. There is not much left to find. Yes, we are pilgrims of a sort. Missionaries might be a more appropriate label. We serve our God and follow his will. It was quite a miracle. A number of my order, all drawn by common faith, came to the village, and we showed them salvation. There was fire and blood and screaming, yes, much screaming, but all for the glory of the great Balin. Praise be to him. We liberated them, man and woman, Alfar and human. We have delivered them to Balin, to his paradise. In exchange, our coven will welcome the slumbering Titan, Balin's beloved servitor, into these lands. But would he not? For right now, we will show you paradise.
Demons defile the land. The burnt skin of the world glows red with suffering. It is the deep gloam, and a pallor of death settles on the people of Amalur. Fires rage across the wastes. The only sound is whispered laughter. As the embers cool and the wind blows across the desert, life once more erupts from the husk of the earth, and the struggle begins.